Welcome to the Denim and Pearls podcast. Business casual conversation laced with pearls of wisdom. Casual, authentic, unscripted dialogue about life, work, and entrepreneurship with the perfect blend of laughter and seriousness. Pull up a chair, kick back, and lean in as we welcome your hosts, Michelle Ross and Brian Swanson.
Muted.
Check, check. Yeah, hey, I think we're live.
Really?
I think so. Dun, dun, dun. We're not live. We're recording live.
We're here.
So howdy, everybody. My name is Brian Swanson.
I'm Dr. Michelle Moroz.
We are
Denim and Pearls, we're business casual
with Pearls of Wisdom
from the porch.
and sometimes technical difficulties. But hey, we shall get through this. We will not lose control, as such as our topic is today.
I lose control. Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's what I sound like when I sing. Tro, oh, oh.
I'm sick of it. I am so sick right now. It's not even funny.
Anyway.
So lose control.
Yeah.
And
you do that while I finish something here.
well,
real quick.
because now I can't remember. I forgot what I was talking about. Remember when I had you look at that? What? Give me a briefing. My brain's not working.
Lose control. Well, it's control. Those things that control us stop us from being successful, whether it's in life or business.
Like what?
Our fears.
Oh.
If our fears or the fear of success or just not wanting to do something.
Is that the thing I sent you about?
Yeah, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either if it's not, we'll still go with it. And we'll figure it out later and see if we have to do it again.
So now you know what happens when Michelle's brain's not working. No, but that's the whole thing is like losing control. And I wanted to use also that Janet Jackson control.
Yeah, but it's a matter of fear controlling you.
Yeah, and being
So-
stopped because of what you're afraid of. So like, oh, that's what I wanted. What started this was hard conversations. So
Yes.
often we don't want to do something and just say, I have a problem with Brian. And every time I see him, I do, nope, want to tell him, but no, I don't want to get in a fight. I don't want to ruin our friendship. So I'm never going to say it. Right. But then every time I see him, I get a little more upset because he's still doing the same thing I wanted to talk to him about, but I didn't tell him.
Sounds like his spouse.
Doesn't that sound like a problem? It sounds like a spouse. And so that's what this lose control is. We allow our fears of what could possibly happen in that conversation stop us from having the conversation. And if you have inhibitions about talking about something, it will nag on you. Yes, like you said with spouses, in relationships like that, it nags and nags and nags, and over time builds into something else. And so he'll do something, let's say.
And then you go off the deep end, and the next thing you know, I don't know why, because you've been building up on something I didn't know about.
I was getting to that.
I just put it in simple terms.
But that's really the thing is, if you noticed in a relationship and you say, I'm going to go from the wife's side, your spouse says, why haven't you put out the garbage? My God, I do everything around here.
Hey, that sounds familiar.
The thing is it's not the garbage. She's actually been holding something inside of her for longer, and the garbage is what ticked it off. And it's not the garbage that she's complaining about. She's complaining about the garbage because that's an easier topic to complain about.
Because of the 14 other honeydews that haven't been accomplished.
Yes. So it's not the garbage. It's something more, something that she never talked to you about. And so that's why I'm saying same thing happens with the other side. Whatever relationship you're in, and someone does blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, you have lint on me and blah, blah. And they freak out about the weirdest thing. It's not the weird thing they're upset about. It's something else. And so when things like that happen, you need to step back and realize whatever they just screamed at you about is the smaller of the
Well, here's the
problems.
neat part about that.
What?
One, they didn't say anything to you, so their fear of and their control is out of their control, that their fear has got out of their control. But on the other hand, it's also, since you used me as a scenario here, it's my objective to ask the question of, Okay, I'm pretty sure it's not the garbage. What else is the problem?
That's what I just said.
It's
Step.
both.
I
It's
said,
both
no,
responsibilities, not
no,
just one.
no. What I meant when I said
No,
step
no,
back,
no, no.
when you step back, realize the little thing was not the little thing is still the little thing. There's something much bigger. So from his point of view, since I used him as the example, yes, he needs to step back and realize you're not getting screamed at because of the garbage. And then when you scream and you realize you've screamed, you need to step back and do, what's the source of that? Because that was a silly thing to
Well,
get
see,
upset
that's the
about.
crazy part. Is most people who like in that case, if it's me and the wife doesn't think about that part of it.
No, because she's already emotional. And
She's just
so,
emotional wreck. Yeah.
but that's what I'm. You be careful about that. Now they're going to be in a fight about that.
This will be the first video she ever watches.
Yes, you're in trouble. But that it's. I'm not talking about just Brian and his spouse. Well, I'm
No,
talking about everybody. I just used him as an example because it's the perfect example.
Use me.
The thing is we have blowouts with friends. We have blowouts with coworkers, spouses, whatever. We have blowouts over the dumbest things.
Well, a big one that just showed up the other day. I was actually talking to an owner of a business the other day, and it was a restaurant / bar business. I was talking to her, and she was in a really, really bad mood. And of course, you can tell it, So I say, "Is everything okay?" Yeah. She's, "Oh, it was a really bad day." I said, "Oh, employees, huh?" She looked at me like, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "It's either employee, distributor, or significant other. Those are the three reasons to be really pissed off in a restaurant business." So the employee did something silly, something stupid, something you didn't agree with. So the question, because we're talking about that hard questions to ask, did she ask? I have no idea, but did she ask the employee her point of view or their point of view? I don't know if the guy or girl, I have no idea. But did
It's irrelevant.
It is. But did she ask their point of view? I don't know. Was it a distributor? Probably not, but okay, whatever. And she says no. And then, of course, oh no, things are good with the spouse. So, yeah, did she ask that question? But employees all the time. That's part of leadership skills is understanding where your employees are coming from. So sometimes you've got to ask those hard questions that we're talking about here.
And since a lot of you watching us tend to be self-employed and don't have a lot of employees, I want you to ask yourself the hard questions. When things aren't going right, usually as a self-employed person, it's us.
It's usually us, yes.
And so you have to ask yourself the hard question. And like with me, the hard question with me was control freak here. Can I bring someone else to help me? No, I can do it. I can do it myself. I can do it. I can do it.
Uh-huh.
In those kind of things. Ask the hard questions, and even if they have to be to yourself, because it's holding you back from something good. A lot of times I talk about the quote about 3 types of business: mine, the other person's, and God's, right? Byron Katie's quote.
And nobody's.
But the other thing is the most beautiful things, everything you want is on the other side of fear. It comes that comes into play even with the hard questions or the hard conversations you don't want to do. I wish our relationship was stronger, and if only he or she or they would do whatever, blah blah blah. Well, they're not mind readers. So if you think that your relationship, business wise or personal wise, would be better if this person did this and you guys did this or whatever, if you don't have a hard conversation about this one topic, you will never get there. So therefore, everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Okay, so I'm going to have to give you this. As
What?
a guy's point of view, if you ignored it, it'll go away. It'll get buried, and it won't ever be a concern.
It will build and build like a gigantic snowball rolling down a hill. And one day, as a guy saying just ignore it, what's going to happen?
Well, guys don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with their feelings. They don't want to deal with emotions. They don't want to face that.
And then you wonder why the woman or the person in your life loses their shit on you. It's because you've been ignoring it for so long, and they blow up on something very small, like you drop food on the floor and forgot to pick it up.
No, that's where the women talk and the guy translating the woman's talk.
Oh, I saw that.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy doesn't. I think the biggest example I've ever heard of is you're laying in bed and the wife says, "It's cold in here." Okay, I'm sorry, put on another blanket. No, what she meant was get up and close the window. Girl talk. It's cold in here. Well, okay. Well, tell me to get up and close the window. Then we've got something to talk about, or we've got an action to take. Women speak, guy thought. So if you don't tell me as a guy, you don't tell me as a guy what the dealio is, there's no way I can react to it when all it is hinting around. If you
So
did take
bottom line, be
Mhm.
clear.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's
And it
not
goes vice versa,
about to
but
say
it's
'cause it's
typically guys.
about to say because it's not just
Guys
guys and
translation.
yeah, and it's not just guys and gals, it's everybody.
Right. But I'm just
Especially when you don't want to do whatever the other person is asking you to do or talking about.
oh yeah.
I mean, I've seen it in on stage or businesses basically where someone does, man, that speaker just doesn't sound right. Woman, that was my speak. That speaker doesn't sound right. I've done it to you. That speaker doesn't sound right. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm looking at him like, fix it.
Yeah,
He's
you're
like,
really bad about that
and
too,
he's
by
like,
the way.
I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't sound right. He is like, what?
No,
Right?
no, you start off with charades first.
Oh, because I'm usually on the other side of the room.
Because she's usually got a microphone and she's going,
It's squeaking.
she doesn't say that. I can't read lips. And she'll point or she'll do something. And I'm like, I have no idea what she's saying.
But
Now
what I found out because I stood behind him, he sits behind the speakers.
Mhm.
So when I'm hearing something in front of the speakers, he can't hear the speakers at all.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you can't hear them.
I hear them for the most part, but there's certain little things that I may
Yeah.
not hear.
And I usually complain about the little things.
So you got to come tell me that there's a problem.
Just like come out of
Doing
your chair.
this doesn't
No, what I'm
does that
saying.
mean you want me to turn it up?
No, I mean get off your ass and come in front of the speakers so you can hear what I'm hearing.
No, that means this.
Oh, I'll do that next time. But this is the thing is it doesn't have to be man female, okay, male female. It's in everything you do. And so when someone says something vague and they're looking at you, say, can you clarify what you're after? Brian does.
What? Yeah, I do.
He does.
From across the room, I'm like, what the hell are you saying? I have no idea.
There's no sound on my end. Or there's backup singers and they're not so where's the backup singers? It's just weird like that. So we're just playing.
Or there's backup singers and you don't want to hear
it's
them.
usually the main singer that I usually want off.
Yeah, well,
that's what's usually coming on. But no, my thing is losing control is really more. This conversation is more about being fearful of having hard conversations. So in the moment when I'm like, what the hell is going on? I can't hear this. I'm still entertaining, so I don't want to deal with it. But
and irritating too.
But what I'm trying to get to with all of you guys is when you want something on the other side of what you don't want to talk about, you got to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, as they always say, any counselor will tell you, and
we're not counselors.
Yeah, that's true. But any counselor will tell you it's communication. The relationship is always about communication.
And the best communications are smile and never talk about it.
Exactly the ones you forget about. That you ignore and move on.
Oh, too bad. That didn't work out. Bye-bye. No, we shouldn't do that, especially if you see something good on the other side that you really wish you could do with your business or the partner or whatever. Talk. Right. If you talk, it gets through things. I mean, we laugh about the fact that I'm always making weird hand gestures to him and that he just does. I have no idea what you're talking about.
We can't show those on video, though.
Yeah. Oh. You don't do that to me. But we always talk about after what were you talking about? And blah, 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 blah. Why didn't you tell me? I always forget because I'm in the middle of a song and I'm like, yeah. But anyways, what do you want? What do you want? And what are you afraid of talking to whomever it is?
I think that's also where we've mentioned it a couple of times is what I call the chicken list.
Explain the chicken list for those who have not seen the other show that you talked about.
For instance, if you're making phone calls, okay, you start a new business. You're supposed to contact friends and family. Well, there's always that family member. There's always that friend that you do not want to call because you think that they're going to tell you no.
or get mad at you for
or get
doing
mad
nothing.
at you, or think that you're doing nothing but spamming them or scamming them or something like
Are
that.
you
Or
falling for another one of these silly things?
yeah, there's always that person or persons on the list that you just don't want to call because you presume that you know what's going to happen. Well, I'll tell you what's really interesting is once you get the nerve up and you get that out of your head, they're usually the one that you want to call or go see or talk to about or whatever. Use your own form of communication there, but you've got to get that fear out of your head. That's your chicken list. Your chicken list of those people you're afraid to talk to.
And I just heard in my head that happens to people who are afraid to go on stage. They're terrified to go on stage because they don't want to fail. They don't want to look silly. But as soon as you finally get them on stage and they start talking,
They're amazing.
They're usually the best speakers.
Oh, well, the wife is that way. She's she thinks she's horrified about getting on stage, but once we put her on stage,
Magic.
she's awesome.
Yeah.
She has that natural I'm a good person attraction kind of a thing. She doesn't have the it factor like somebody else I know. But but she does have that great personality, and she presents, and she's like very articulate
Well, she's very intuitive
and too intuitive.
and the best hugger on the planet. I come here just to get hugs from her. But anyways,
so anyhow, some of it also has to do with making that change in business.
mhm.
If you need to make a change in business, try it. See what happens. What's going to happen? It's going to fail, or it's not going to work. I would prefer to use the fact that it's not going to work as opposed to fail.
We don't believe in failing.
There is no such thing as failing.
But you would learn
Or
from that
no such thing as
conversation.
failure.
You'd learn from that conversation, that's for sure, and you can use it for the next conversation.
Hmm?
And I'm thinking about
Oh, because I've done that before. I've made phone calls, and the guy on the other end of the line says, "Well, I really can't help you. However, dot 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 dot." And I spend 30 minutes getting an education from somebody that I'm like, "Oh, I was thinking that you built." For example, I think it was something with a stage or something, but uh, I think you put a stage up, you just roll it in, unfold it, stick it up, and you're good to go, right? Well, no, I get a 30-minute explanation that it requires this piece and that piece and this work and that
stabilizers.
work and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, so now I'm more educated on the situation, even though that guy couldn't help me.
Mhm.
But he helped me more than I ever thought he would.
Hard conversations always lead to knowledge. I
That's
mean,
true.
yeah.
If nothing else, you get an education out of the question.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's making yourself ask it. It's just like me. We were talking about doing short videos.
Mhm.
It took me forever to finally look up AI. Once I looked up, well, I know what AI is,
Yeah.
but once I looked up the possibility of what AI can do with
It was like,
these
wow.
longer videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Everybody told me I could do it.
Now, then on a simpler thing, I guess it's simpler. I've been not feeling well for a couple of days, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to tell anybody I wasn't feeling well. I was just gonna suck it up, and I ended up going to the doctor because the hard conversation is, what's wrong with me? And the doctor looks at me and says, you have shingles. I'm like, oh. So something as simple as the hard conversation of, should I be going to a doctor or can I just ignore this a little longer?
Guys, that's for you.
Yeah, all of you. And so really what happened is I have shingles and it was getting worse and worse. Talked to the doctor, he gives me a antiviral horse pill, and within like 4 hours, the pain that was increasing went away.
Mhm.
And so instead of suffering, see, this is the hard conversation would have actually helped me. Hard conversation ended up being a benefit because right now I'm in pain, but I can't imagine the kind of pain I would be in
If you didn't
if I
have
didn't have the pill. You see?
I
So
totally get it.
it was a hard conversation. A lot of you who don't want to go to a doctor or to a dentist, go do it.
I'd be like, what alien is getting under my skin? I need to go to the doctor.
And I'm like,
and I've had shingles before
I was
too.
like, there's something going on, but I'm just gonna ignore it. Maybe it's a heat rash. Maybe I'll take a cooler shower. I'll take the heavy blanket off. I mean, I was doing all
Oh,
sorts of stuff.
well, you know what I think part of it is.
What?
Would you have gone to the doctor sooner if they were right down the road?
Well,
If that doctor was right down the street, 3 mile here in town, would you have gone to the doctor, or did you put it off because of the drive you had to do, and not to mention trying to set an appointment?
well, actually, it was more. I didn't want to go to the doctor because getting an appointment is so
It
difficult.
is.
And then please enter your military ID sponsor something number. It's not your social number. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, you're right. They have ID numbers now
yeah.
as opposed to
And
your
then
social.
and then thank you for calling. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? When you're pain of blah blah blah. Would you? And then when I went online, it said name of doctor or whatever you have to
Yeah.
put in. My doctor has PCS. So the name I had from the last time I went in is no longer on the list. And then there isn't a general practitioner for family practice. So I didn't know where to go because I don't know who I am linked to. And then I had to call my husband, and my husband's like, "Oh, we're on team such and such." I said, "There is no link. There's no drop down for team. How do I make an appointment?" And he's like, "Just call." And so I didn't go because it took too many clicks to get to a doctor.
hmm
Does that sound familiar?
Oh yeah, it definitely sounds
Did you
familiar on this side.
well, the reason I'm saying too many clicks, same happens on your websites. The more a client needs to click to get to you, the less likely they're going to do it. So if it says call me or contact me or whatever, and they click and it says, please answer these questions before,
Yeah, yeah, I'm done.
they're gone. And so you have to click and instantly get to someone that says, hi, how would you like to speak? By text, by email, or phone call? Phone call. You'll get a call in a moment. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you make them click and then fill out their name, address, the firstborn, the first baby name of the dog that they had when they were 12, if you have them answer all those questions, they're never coming to
Well,
you.
it's like I have an event group.
Mhm.
And when I get submissions, because I approve everything that goes through there, it's got 30 some thousand people on it, blah, 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 blah. But I only let certain things through. I love when people say, come to this event. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's from 3 to 5. And that's the end of the information. There's nothing on their flyer of where it's located. Oh, click on this whatever Eventbrite thing. You click on the Eventbrite and it'll finally tell you location, because they make you give them a location when you fill out an Eventbrite. But sometimes it's not even that. It's just, oh, just click here for details. And you click there for details, and it doesn't even tell you where it's at.
My thing is, I won't click if I don't know where it's at.
Well, I have to go through because a lot of times I'll get somebody that
Oh, that's because
doesn't
it's your
belong.
page. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's my page and I'm trying to approve it. So I'm looking for where it's located, because if it's not in Colorado Springs, it doesn't belong on my page.
No, I'm thinking as an attendee. If I don't
Well,
look,
even as
if-
attendee, they would never find it if I
yeah,
did approve
if I
it.
look at an image and someone says, "Hey, come to my event," I look at an image that just has a name and I can't see where it is and the date. I don't even look. I do
Right. Well,
not click.
there's a lot of venues out there now, especially new venues since COVID. There's been a lot of upstart venues here in the last, what's it been, 5 years? I don't know where they're all at. I mean, I know this town, trust me, but I don't. There's some new venues I don't know, and they just say it's at XYZ Studio. They know where it's at,
Yeah.
but they don't know that their reader doesn't know
And
where
something
it's
you
at.
need to remember, it's back from our
What's that got to do with the questions?
journalism class. Who, what, when, where, and why.
The W's.
You always answer the W's on every flyer. Who, what, when, where, and why, and how.
Yeah. How's not a W?
It's one of the weird ones. It's an offshoot.
Because if you put it as
It's
a W,
who, what,
it's
when,
who.
where, and why. And then there's sometimes you answer how, because it's a journalism thing.
So yeah, what does this have to do with control?
I forgot.
I think we kind of went off of
No,
control and
there,
that fear of
no, there was a
moving
reason.
forward.
No, the reason we went down that lane about avoiding doctors and avoiding pushing buttons, some people
Asking the hard question.
is that we avoid things that are difficult. And how we got on this with the clicking and things, If you make things difficult for your clients, they will not come to you.
That's true.
Doctors make it very difficult
They
to
won't
get to
ask
them.
the hard question.
And so since the doctors, you have to go through too many things to get to a doctor, a lot of us just don't go. So think of it like that with your clients. Make it easy so that they don't have to make the difficult decision on if they want to click again.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that meant. I knew there was a reason we tied it. I'm not crazy. I'm just tired.
That's what she thinks.
Okay, so are we done?
I think so.
Okay, so it's time for some medication, and my pain threshold is fading.
Okay, so what do we got coming up? What do we got coming up? Oh, tomorrow, Saturday, the 12th, I will be at the Buzzy Bee event at
Where?
the Colorado Springs Event Center
What time?
over on Academy, and it runs from 11 to 4, and there's supposed to be a whole lot of people. They've got one group there that's nothing but used clothing. There's all kinds of vendors. There's kids jump houses and all kinds of stuff to be on. I will be there doing sound, but also we've got 20 tables. I think it's 20, 18 tables that all belong to Galaxy Fest, representing Galaxy Fest and Not So Many Con.
And just because it's called Buzzy Bee, it doesn't mean it's only for children.
It is not just for children. It's a full family event.
Yeah, so come out. Are there going to be like food trucks and things like that?
They're having food. I don't know. I don't know what all the food details
Okay,
are,
well,
but I
just
think they are having food.
there is food there, so I just want to let you know. And from what time to what time? Again,
11 to 4
okay,
on
so
Saturday.
April the
Tomorrow,
12th.
April 12th.
So that's one thing. And then the following week, the 19th of April,
We might be talking to you from far away.
well, not then. Not then.
Oh, no.
Because we'll still be traveling. We'll
Oh,
be on an
that's right.
airplane.
Oh.
So we will be on our way to Qatar. And then, so we'll be there for the, oh my gosh.
Women's Forum.
The First Ladies Forum in Qatar. So Doha, Qatar. So we'll do a live. Well, we won't do a live. We'll do a live, but it'll be some ungodly time for all of you.
We don't know what's going to happen yet.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
we'll do it.
You'll see.
Anyways, just wanted to let you know that's coming, and hopefully I'm healed by then because that's a long flight with shingles. And so we will talk to you all next time. Remember, when you feel like you're losing control, think about the hard question or hard task,
and take control.
because the other side of that thing you are avoiding is where everything is that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So have a great
And
week,
all the
everybody.
little successes along the way will get you to where you need to be.
Have a great week, everybody.
Ooh.
My name is Dr. Shamaras,
And I'm Brian Swanson.
and we're Denim and Pearls. We're business casual
With Pearls of Wisdom.
from the porch. So peace.
Peace
And
out.
maybe we'll see you tomorrow at the Buzzy Bee event at
Colorado Springs Event Center.
from.
11 to 4.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Peace out.